Well, I've moved, this is day 2. I've come back on the Friday to finish this picture off. But the only thing is, as you can see, the weather isn't as sunny. And I was hoping, when I walked out onto the street, there was a nice bit of sunshine beaming down, but now it seems to have gone away, so I'll see how it goes. I'm going to hope that I get some, because it's very difficult to go back if there isn't sunlight. Anyway, you can just see it's sort of trying to come through. Anyway, so now get back into the groove of what I was doing before is the most important thing. So I've got to be careful not to be distracted by, you know, if the light is different, which it is, of course, it is different. But I knew when I was working on this on Tuesday that the sky wasn't quite light enough, or probably warm enough, but certainly not light enough. So I'm going up there first to have a look at that. And there's a big cloud up there, which there wasn't on Tuesday, but that makes the sky a bit more interesting. So I'm going to put a bit of light around the cloud and just sort of suggest a little cloud. Yeah, sunshine is not looking good, but let's see. Well, as I go into the shadow areas, without the sunlight, that is definitely dodgy, because you see the shadow areas with this contre-jour facing the sun, you know, are very silhouette, and now they're not, because I can see into the shadows because I haven't got that bright light glaring at me. Big difference. Anyway, I've started putting in a few people. That, you know, I won't over define them for the moment, and we'll see what happens with the light. And people, if they're in sunlight, they've got to have bits and pieces of bouncing light on them, which is going to be very difficult to do without actually seeing it. And the thing is, this sunlight is not coming, so I've made a decision to lose the direct sunlight and just put the light in the sky, but without it being direct sunlight. So that shadow underneath now, I'm just going to soften it out. Not the shadow, the sunlight creating the shadows down below. I'm just going to soften that sunlight out so we don't have the effect of direct sunlight. And in a way, it does make the shadow areas more interesting, but of course you can't really compete with beautiful bouncing sunlight. But anyway, that's what it is, and you know, I've tried my hardest, but the thing is, this painting is about responding to how I feel standing there looking down this road, and you know, you can't have a painting that is a different scene to the one you're trying to respond to. I mean, it's just impossible. So I've got to go with either I pack up and go back, or I say, right, is this can I find something in here that I'm interested in doing and relate to it, and does it relate in any way to the painting I've already got? Well, there's where I am now, and it's obviously a different scene to the one with the sunlight, but I quite like all those greys, so I'm going to go with it. Yeah, you can get a lot of play between colours in greys. At the moment that looks very grey, and maybe too grey. So I've got to look for the colours in the grey and bring it to life without the effect of sunlight, direct sunlight. So there's some reds and oranges missing, which are on the awnings over the shops, and little light reflections here and there. So those reds could be quite useful on them. Just little marks, just to, even just those couple of sort of grey oranges that I've just put in are just bring a little bit more life into it. You can do a bit more. You have to be careful that when you get a good idea, like, oh, I'll put a bit of red or grey orange or whatever, you've got to be careful that you don't suddenly think, yes, I'll do a bit more and a bit more, and suddenly you upset the balance of the picture, or, you know, you completely go down a different road. So, at this point, you know, I'm on day 2, and I'm only going to be out here for an hour. Every brushstroke must be very carefully considered. Considered not in terms of, is it an accurate brushstroke, you know, does it define the thing that you're looking at, but does it complement the feeling of the picture? That's the most important thing. So almost every single brushstroke I stand back, or every little run of brushstrokes I stand back from the picture and allow myself to see the effect of the picture, and I look at the street and, you know, make sure that I'm constantly feeling what I'm trying to do, and that the brushstrokes I'm putting on go towards that feeling, and if they don't, you know, be prepared to take them straight back off again, or adjust them, or do whatever it takes. There we are with a few bits of red and orange in, and in fact I've pushed, you can see I've pushed the road colours towards yellow on the left and pink on the right, and this sort of greeny grey in the sky, which is obviously a warm, very warm colour to push the blue sky towards green, or grey sky towards green. It warms it, and it's very yellow. So, in a way, those colours reflect the colours that are in the buildings and the awnings and the people, because I've used greens and yellows and reds and things there. So, that's not calculated decision. That's just looking and seeing and feeling and thinking, okay, I can push this bit towards grey pink, etc, etc. So there now I think I've got the right sort of light and colouring in the picture to make that work. And just very carefully now look at it, see if there's anything more to do. But, you know, I feel like I'm getting close now that I've got rid of the sunlight and played with the grey colours more. It's very, very loose, but I like doing that, especially when I'm on location. You know, that is the time to stay loose and free and just respond to the feeling of the scene and not get caught up with detail. If you're working in a studio, you've got plenty of time to muck about with detail, or you know, if you like working hyper-real or something, but out on location, I like to just respond to the atmosphere. I mean, that's the whole point of being out there. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more I think it's done. And so I'll leave that a couple of days hanging around the studio and decide if it needs another trip out into town, but I somehow doubt it. I think I'm quite close there.